excited to see what happens next. Shit's gotten weird since Mortimer showed up at her house.
You might almost start suspecting that Mortimer's in on it. He's part of this in some way.
The strange things did start to happen not long after I started showing up in my class.
That's what happens when you go to school, kids.
Indeed.
The poor boy is just he just has an horrible luck of just being in the wrong place.
Wrong place, wrong time syndrome.
Pretty much.
It's fine. We've decided that Katie is going to ask the U.S. government, aka steal just a large, whiskey barrel of salt. We're gonna plop Mortimer in it under the full moon, and that should take care of that.
I love that.
Yep.
Okay. Victoria, you wake up to see your love over you and then this weirdo. But this vision, whatever just happened, it's seared in your brain and it hurts to think about.
Oh, what? Ow. Okay, we're not gonna. Ow.
And
Ow.
this is why you need to drink your water, dear. And we'll pass over the glass of water in a scone.
Are you okay?
I didn't forget my water today.
Miss Victoria, are you okay?
I don't know. Considering I just fainted, I feel like the answer is no, not particularly.
Now, this might... I'm not expecting you, but do you have any recollection of what happened to make you collapse like you did?
I mean, I was just looking at my notes and trying to pick... Ow! Okay, we're not going to... Nope.
No, none of that. Come here. And she's going to help her up onto the couch and get her situated and fluff the pillow. The British way of saying I'm concerned without concerned. Saying I'm concerned.
Mortimer is now just giving like a suspicious look to the notes of like, no, we'll just keep those over there.
What she was arranging would have been like the sonar images that Henry had shown her, moving them around, trying to arrange them kind of like puzzle pieces, whether any of it actually makes any sort of sense or not. But I feel like you might be able to recognize that, well, they're maps or images of some sort. I don't know what else you'd be able to figure out by looking at it.
Actually, it feels like this is important and I shouldn't disturb this, but...
Just like those relics?
No, that was worth it. Quiet, you mysterious voice! Speaking of that, maybe I should go back and get the tablet now.
Maybe don't bring it back here. Also, if anyone asks, I don't have those images. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
if anyone asks, you haven't seen those.
You know what? I will let you know this is probably the third time I have heard that I have not seen something today, and, well, oddly enough, this is not my first time in this type of rodeo, as they say in Texas, but,
Welcome to working with the American government.
You know what? With what's already happened, I can see why you collapsed. It's quite a bit much. Well, I'm going to go get the tablet, and you know what? I'll leave it outside, and we can all look at it from outside, where maybe it'll be a little safer. And Mortimer is going to go head back to the tent to go get the tablet.
Katie, what are you doing?
I was going to say, they probably have like a little garden in the back with like a little shack that has a table and stuff that people can stand in. So she would direct Mortimer to go there. She would then turn back to Victoria and frown. Are you sure you're all right?
I'm sure I'll be alright. Don't know what happened. It just hurts to think about. Ow. Also, she is like grabbed onto your hand, Katie, and just has not let go. She's not quite cutting off circulation, but anytime you go to move, she's not letting go.
If that's the case, the only thing she does is she's going to like kind of scooch a little closer and just very gently, because I imagine they're holding the hands that have the rings on them, and just kind of squeeze and place a tiny little kiss where the Victoria's ring is. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm just like laying on the couch. I've got my eyes closed. I'm trying not to think about the thing that I would like to think about, but it hurts to think about, and I kind of don't really want to think about it.
Yeah, and like Katie's just trying to wait for the right moment to where the grip loosens. Like, I'm gonna go get some aspirin, and then zoom, look at the notes while getting the aspirin.
Katie, as you're looking out the window, you're able to see out over the beach, over the docks, and in the distance you swear you see a red light blinking.
Tilts her head. It's not like a ship light? Because she's probably seen a lot of those.
That's what you think it is. It's on the horizon, but it doesn't seem to be moving. It's just out there. You've seen a whole bunch of these, yeah. Most of them have been ship lights, but this one, it just kind of catches your eye, and you're captivated for a moment before you return to taking care of your wife.
They'll shake their head and squeeze Victoria's hand. Do you want me to go get you an aspirin?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll be back in a few moments, and we'll get up and look at the notes as they're walking past to go get it, and look when they come back. So I don't know what kind of roll you want me to make.
Roll spot hidden.
Okay.
As you walk away and you come back, Victoria is now covered in 2 cats. You recognize both of them. We still don't know where they came from, but they've probably been the ones who hang around the longest.
Calling them like, I don't know, trying to think of cat names. John and Martin. There we go, to reference another Lovecraftian mythos podcast. All right, cool. My spot hidden is 60 and I rolled a 9.
Wonderful.
Nice.
That's pretty good. You're pretty sure you've gotten most of it memorized. Now, what was in your notes, Victoria? What exactly were you writing? Specifically on this page that's open.
I don't know if I was necessarily writing a lot, but I think I was like writing the details of artifacts, Japanese ship, underground structures, serpent attack, Japanese ship, ?
Before she started going down, Katie, you saw her writing something very intensely. And the page is still almost flipped over. So it's got this not indent, but it has a lift to it, and you just flip it over as you walk past, and you just see scribbled out over and over again, Basidio Gur, Basidio Gur, Basidio Gur, Basidio Gur, Basidio, and then the line falls off the page.
Your turn to roll sanity.
Probably.
Yep.
Mortimer comes back this time. Katie's the one passed out on the floor.
Hey, 23.
All right.
Nice.
You take 1 sanity loss, but it all is flooding into your brain real quick. All that happened in England. You remember the glowing eye looking at you. You remember Blackwell. You remember how you met Victoria, and then you remember that you died.
Which, remind me how she died?
She got by one of the Basidio hounds, or like the hounds that clawed their way up from under the library.
Okay, so lots of biting and clawing and...
Yes.
So I imagine there's just this sharp intake of breath from Katie as she puts a hand like near the juncture where collarbone meets shoulder, because that's a lot of places where predator animals will bite to pull something down
Mm-hmm.
and just start almost hyperventilating, but because she passed her sanity check, kind of pull it together with that English stoicism for, for king and country, right? Wait, no, it would
Stiff
be
upper
queen
lip.
and country, I think, right? Because I swore Victoria was queen at this point.
No, Victoria was early or kind of mid
Or
1800s.
not
Then it was
Victoria.
Edward, I think was the Edward was the king at this time.
Okay, so it's not Elizabeth yet. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, for king and country.
No, I'm a fool. It was George the Sixth.
Oh, George, there we go. Look, you either hit a Henry, a George, or an Edward, you're bound to get the right king.
Right.
True. Do I hear this, like the intake and panicked breathing?
It's audible. You look over and you see her seeing your journal.
Katie, is everything all right?
She'll kind of shake her head and come back over, sit down, plop the aspirin in your hand and wait for you to take it before saying, I died.
What? Okay, that's not what? That's not funny. Are you trying to make me laugh so ow my head?
No, when you met Blackwell,
Who?
I met
Who?
at the will, and I died. There were hounds?
Do I remember any of this?
You remember the fight in the library where Katie got grabbed by one of the hounds, and you faintly remember it's all bits and pieces, but you remember she died, and by some strange miracle, she was brought back from death.
What? I thought that was just a weird. What? Did that actually happen? How do I not remember that?
I don't know. We were there, and then as a blur, mostly pain and teeth and screaming. And does she remember coming back in England or waking up here and just kind of memories?
In memory, you remember a charmed life at school, you two met in a library, but all of this is slowly getting corrupted by, yeah, you met in the library where she was going to school, you two knew each other, sort of, you just had that librarian researcher relationship, and then one day you just woke up and you were in her arms, and you're in Hawaii.
We were colleagues, not like we presented now. For those who know, but then I died and started. The wheel turned again, as some people would say, but this time we were entwined, and then we came here.
I mean, I know we were friends for a while. Before I finally worked up the courage to ask you out.
Right.
And then almost at the same time, both of you see this hound coming out of the ground. A mysterious figure shoots a chandelier, and both of you nearly die when it comes crashing down. And then the hound grabs Katie, and the lights go out for Katie. But Victoria, you keep seeing this happening, and then this light coming up and bringing her back almost. But you had concerns with a woman that you were with, that maybe this isn't right. Maybe she's, you both joke, maybe like she's a sleeper agent or something from Basidiogar. And that name finally stops hurting your head and it starts to actualize what it is.
Oh, gods. How could I have forgotten all of that?
Gabriella and Deckard's name
How
come
could
back
that
to
even
you.
have happened?
Bosco's name comes back to you.
Gabriella. Deckard. Oh, Deckard. Wonder if anyone was able to tell his grandchildren. I've been, like, furiously, like, scribbling the random details that I remembered, trying to give myself just enough on just whatever scrap paper I found so I don't completely forget again.
At the sound of Deckard's name, almost as if he was summoned, Mortimer, you return with the tablet, and you hear the word Deckard.
And that's when Mortimer probably will come through from the side. Like, I imagine there's like a sliding glass door for what to go out to the garden. And Mortimer was coming in from there, and he heard Deckard, and he's just, excuse me, let Deckard's grandchildren know what exactly, Miss Victoria?
We both, I feel like, look significantly more freaked out than we did the last time you were here, like 5 minutes ago. And Victoria just like jumps and like reaches for the knife that she keeps like strapped around her ankle as you come in, and then just relaxes when she realizes it's you.
Except that's not what Mortimer sees, and it's not what Katie sees. In fact, you stay violent, and you stay ready to attack. The insanity hasn't quite worn off on you yet. You hold this knife ready, and you're seeing red.
Mortimer's hands instinctively shoot upwards in a defensive position. He's just, I do apologize.
You're not going to take her. You're not going to take her, not again. I'm not going to lose her again. I picture I'm just instinctively like trying to like push Katie behind me, which definitely isn't working because I'm on the couch.
Yeah, and she's just gonna very gently, if allowed, take Victoria's face in their hands and be like, I'm not going anywhere.
Victoria, roll a power, and I need a hard success.
Okay. I just got a regular success.
The knife goes straight into Katie.
I don't think I see that it's you. I think like it's you, but it's not you. And
You see the dog again. You're back in Oxford, and the dog lunges at you and attacks you, and you plunge your knife into it. And then you come back to, and you're seeing Katie in front of you, and you see your knife inside.
oh God, no, Katie, no, I'm sorry. What? No. No. As I'm just like packing blanket around knife, not pulling knife out. I know.
And with a actual like real stern voice, he's just, move, and he's gonna go to try and do some first aid.
Katie,
Wow.
roll sanity.
Oh, goody. Hey, 18, and I have 59.
The fact that you aren't feeling any pain doesn't concern you. In fact, this has happened a couple times before. Once you cut yourself with a kitchen knife, you didn't bleed, you didn't feel pain. And a couple more times you fell and you hurt your knees, and you got scraped up a little bit, but there was no blood. When you thought there should have been blood, you just kind of, high pain tolerant. And you know what? It's kind of a blessing that I didn't bleed or anything, and at least the wound won't get infected. But you look down, and you see this knife inside of you, about where your lung would be.
Yeah, she should be gurgling about now.
You tilt your head, you look down again, and the knife is still there. Victoria has plunged it pretty deep into you, and with a lot of force. You should have felt something, and by now you should have been bleeding.
I'm frantically like trying to pack the blanket around it to staunch the bleeding without removing the blade. There's not enough of Victoria here right now to notice if there's anything weird. I am attempting to not have accidentally just killed my wife.
So this is not shock. Katie is basically feeling nothing and completely just no adrenaline spike, no nothing. Just, huh.
No
Okay.
adrenaline, no blood, no nothing.
Would Mortimer notice that there's no blood pouring from the wound?
Roll me first aid.
Roger.
I think because this is shocking to her that she's not feeling any of this because the previous ones were smaller things, so it's like, okay, maybe
I rolled a 33. I'm going to use 3 luck points because my first aid is 30. So I'll use 3 luck points for that. So I'm just...
As you're running to and you're seeing Victoria kind of freaking out just what happened, you then realize that Katie seems pretty okay with this. That there is no pain. She's not seizing up. It doesn't look like she's in shock. And at the same time, there's no blood.
Her pupils aren't dilated or anything, just so...
From what you're seeing once you push Victoria off of her, and you look at Katie, just kind of sitting there as confused as you are. Like, blank stare, kind of just confused, really. You realize there's no blood, and Katie, you have the urge to just pull the knife out.
Miss...
Yeah, I mean, she's gonna kind of just follow that urge and instinctively just, grab the handle unless stopped and go to, just...
Well, seeing from how Katie's reacting to everything, Mortimer can tell you're not in shock. He's just actually like, okay, he's gonna watch you as you pull it out just to make sure like it's not rough or anything. If anything, he's helping you pull it out.
Yeah, she'll let him and look down and see. I'm assuming there's a hole in my chest.
There's a hole in your chest, and the blade comes out yellow with powder.
Miss Katie, I don't know how to tell you this, but it looks like you're going to be okay.
Victoria's starting to hyperventilate.
Miss Victoria, I do believe it's safe to calm down a little.
Go ahead and roll psychology on her, Mortimer.
Gotcha. Oh, God, I only have a 10 in psychology.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with Katie passing her remembrance, would she remember the mushrooms at all and the powder?
You're remembering all of it.
Okay, here's the good news. I have a 10 in psychology and I rolled a 12, so I will use 2 more luck points to get the 10.
All right.
That's how you came back. Why would... What? How? No. So you did die. That's how you came back.
You need to lock me up. You need to...
No, Miss Katie,
I told him he couldn't take you.
I have no idea what's
take you.
going on, but...
I refuse.
I don't think you should panic or be that... He throws away the knife, so the yellow dust isn't in our sight anymore.
I'm perfectly calm and rational, other than one of my favorite glasses being ruined and my wife upset, and I can't go give her a hug because I am somehow infected with a spore that came from somewhere in the Irish moors and turned people murderous. So I would very much like if you could please bind me so I don't hurt anybody. Thank you.
But I guess no, that still makes no sense.
I must insist that we tie your hands in front of you.
We'll let them tie her hands in front of her, but doesn't, just grumbles about it.
And Mortimer's grumbling because he does not like this. He's like, you seem perfectly rational to me, and but fine.
I seem to remember that it just made Gabriella pass out, so you should be fine. Just don't breathe it. I don't know how did he do it on purpose, or did what?
Would you two be so kind to just, if you're willing to, tell me from the beginning, and you have my word that nothing here is leaving this house.
I don't want to do that to you. I wouldn't want to do that to anybody.
He's kind of already in it, seeing as he's now accomplished to tying me up.
The more he knows, the worse it's going to get.
Miss Victoria, as of this moment, you are a person in need, and as my father and mother raised me, a person in need is a future friend, and you are my friend now, and I'm going to help you in any way I can. Now, please, have a glass of water, and let's start from the beginning.
We're going to cut the audio right there, and we will move a little bit forward to sometime after that story has been told. It's going to be the next morning.
It does start with, you mentioned you knew Deckard Lazarus.
Yes.
He was right. And it all started when I, and another friend of ours were invited to a dinner and a will reading. And then flash forward after I traumatize and re-traumatize everyone.
So Mortimer's not sitting there in shock after hearing everything. He's actually just he's crying because number one, Deckard was he looked up to that man very much. He was a very what his second favorite teacher of all time, and just to hear what Katie and Victoria went through with all that, he now personally just wants to find a member from the Green Circle and put his foot up their ass. Miss Katie and Miss Victoria, I'm sorry any of that you had to experience any of that.
I'm back to holding Katie's hand and I'm not letting go.
Katie still has their hand tied because they're afraid, but is holding your hand.
And Mortimer looks at him with a still serious look in his eye. He's just, but I'm a man of my word. And I said, I am going to help you any way I can. And even with knowing all of this, I feel you need as much help as you can get.
At this, Reveille starts playing, and you all realize that it's morning, and that story took forever to tell. But you also realize how tired you are.
Oh, and I have to teach. I'm just going to call in sick. I think we're both going to call in sick today. It's not a lie, just a stretching of the truth, not telling them all the details.
I mean, it's not every day you remember that you were tortured by an insane cult and then brought back to life by strange mushrooms, so I think this qualifies for a sick day.
I knew there was a reason I didn't like mushrooms anymore.
Mortimer, you're just kind of tired, and you start nodding off and fall asleep on their couch.
I feel like we are all just kind of like sitting on the couch, or maybe one of us is in the chair. Just kind of nod off, just exhaustion.
Mortimer's in the chair, we're on the couch. One of us uses the other as a pillow.
Love it.
The cats have run amok about the house, but they have finally got into their food box and have eaten half of the thing. And you're all awakened by a knock at the door.
What? Okay, you're still here. Relaxes when I see that Katie is here, and as she's like starts to stir, and you still look like you.
McGuire, Hope!
No, go away.
McGuire!
As I'm just like frantically untying your hands before anyone can come in and see. Smallpox, pneumonia,
stomach bug.
plague.
I don't care what excuses you have. I saw you all last night. You're not sick.
Stomach bug, food poisoning. You know illnesses can happen quickly.
Is that enough to keep you away from looking at relics?
Give us a few minutes.
You don't have to teach today. You can just look at relics. You know how I feel about Team B.
That's fair. I just look at Katie. I'm like, are you feeling up to it, love?
No, but if we're going to figure out what happened to us, I have a feeling it's going to stop with those. So she'll stretch, kind of probably dislodging a little more dust out of the hole and grumble. Go to put on a new sweater.
Which one of you all would be the best at linguistics?
I only got the English.
Same.
Well, Mortimer actually speaks 3 languages. He speaks Turkish, German, and English. He has a 63 in all 3.
Those are very unhelpful on this side of the world.
I mean, it depends if you let us use our archaeology.
I'll allow you to use archaeology, and then I realized something that I've added to my notes about Victoria. You see this blue tablet on the table. It's wrapped up a little bit, but you're seeing a faint glow. Mortimer, you took in that you didn't understand any of the words that were there. It looks like pictograms that have been lost to time. You were thinking about asking the village elder to look at it and tell you something about it, but Victoria, you're reading it.
I picture she was just like got up and started like putting her things together, and then she just notices the glow, goes to investigate, and just curiosity gets the better of her, and she starts reading it. And what does it say?
Do you read it aloud?
No.
Okay.
At least not loud enough for anyone to hear. She might like kind of like mouth it as she's reading it, but she's not like reading out loud with the intention of other people hearing.
There's a certain poetry to the first bit of it. The large tablet, but you read it, you start reading it to yourself, and you start over once you realize the poetry, and you start reading it a little bit under your breath, and you start feeling the air start to shift, and you start hearing a ringing in your ears as if the pressure has shifted. And as you finish reading it, you hear a siren off in the distance. This is a tidal wave siren. You all look outside and you see that all the water further than where the beach usually is gone.
I've really got to stop reading things. I would imagine there's some sort of emergency precaution drills, instructions of what to do when this siren goes off.
It's get to higher ground, and then as you realize what has happened, you go back to read it with a knowledge that almost feels like it's not yours. And the waves just sort of roll back in as you read it again, as normal, and the sirens go off.
You know, I knew you were divine and everything, darling. As Katie comes back in wearing like a dark green sweater and a saint medal around their neck, but maybe let's not do that while we're living here.
In your mind, you hear Priestess Victoria. You've taken the first step.
I made no agreements with you. She says that's in her head. Because she didn't actually agree to anything.
But it was given freely. Anyways, the knocking at the door comes again. Where are you? You ready?
Yes. Dump a bunch of stuff on top of the tablets to cover the glow, and then like gather up all my notes and stick them in my bag that I always have with me. Scritch some of the cats.
Yeah, Victoria will come out of the kitchen after riding the food bucket and grumbling at them affectionately and putting the lid back on.
And Mortimer, I know you're in there. Bring the artifacts that you took. You're not in trouble.
I just needed a second opinion. I was going to bring them back.
I figured.
Oh, goodness. But looking at more relics is going to be good, and I do believe we can possibly find some leads about certain information we need.
Maybe don't say that part out loud.
As they're going out the door, Katie is just going to clasp a very 60 is a pretty strong strength, so a very firm hand on Mortimer's shoulder. Next time, don't admit to the crime until they throw the evidence at you, and even then, try and twist it, pat, and walk out.
Mortimer feels so conflicted. He's like, "But I'm supposed to be. You know what? I have to be. You know what? I will follow their lead. Yes. And he follows behind.
I mean, I have something to say if you say you're supposed to be an archaeologist.
It belongs in a museum. Specifically the British Museum.
What do you think the British Museum is full of, darling?
Things that don't belong there.
It
I
is
say as
mine.
I fish a kitten out of my bag and just put it on the ground. How many times have I stopped sleeping in my bag?
There's a lot of cats.
Then stop hiding the spare scones in there, dear.
You all have gotten ready and you leave the house. Mortimer, you're carrying this tablet in its in a little cloth to cover it up, and then Katie, you're carrying the others. You get to the research tent, and it's a humid day outside, and it is even more so in here. They have fans blowing and everything, and it is still horrible.
The frizz is so bad. Victoria spends most of the walk trying to get her hair under control, and then making sure there are no other kittens stowed away.
There are no kittens.
Yeah. Victoria will just pull out an extra, like, little 1940s car.
You're Katie. I'm
headscarf.
Victoria.
Oh, Katie. Why do I keep saying Victoria? Probably because I have a character that's a Victoria. Anyways, Katie will pull out of, like, 2 little car headscarves and pass one over to Victoria. So that way she can hide the hair.
Thank you. Those are going to get very annoying.
It's nice of y'all to finally join us, says Major Fletcher. He's the leader of B Team. You see Harv, he's a researcher. He actually does pretty decent work. He's maybe not as good as y'all, but he's well on his way, and he joined the military just because it was the only way that he'd be able to get that kind of experience. Y'all respect him. He wants to make sure things get done right, which is something that that Fletcher and Crane don't get done, because they would prefer to be anywhere else but here. And then Private Jones looks like he's already on something. He's looking at a couple of fragments, piecing them together pretty quickly for Private.
Apologies for the tardiness. Ready to get to work? I wander over and look at the fragments that Jones is putting together. You're good at this.
He stands up and salutes you, as he always does, even though you've told him not to. Well, I'm just doing my job. Looks like it's going to be some sort of vase or something.
I look forward to seeing when it's done. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. I'm guessing whatever use stuff like this, they did decorate their pottery. It probably also means that they had livestock and fields and other stuff. So, wonder how it's been found out here.
Could be any number of reasons that things get lost in the ocean, depending on how long it's been. Do we even know where these artifacts came from? They could have originally come from anywhere and been transported anywhere before they ended up here. Unless I missed something in the morning meeting.
Yes, ma'am, you did. Cassidy was just telling us that these artifacts were taken off a Japanese ship about where Mr. Henry found his sonar pictures.
Interesting. I didn't know they had Henry doing sonar work yet. Good on him. Continuing to play like I don't know what he's been up to.
Apparently he just told everything to the military police last night. And we got all the information. Apparently that's about where the British found the ship, is where he was doing the sonar investigation.
And did they happen to say the condition that the ship was found in?
They said it was derelict, but they won't tell us any more about it. We're surprised to see a derelict ship out there that's perfectly fine condition. I thought the Japanese would have at least fired on them.
Right now, Mortimer is just making doing his best poker face, but inside of his mind, he is just screaming.
And where is Henry?
Well, he's resting. It seems that he had quite the night last night.
Check on him later.
Saying too much again. But yes, he's at his barracks. He's dead asleep right now. They kept him up all night.
I mean, it's not like we're going to tell anyone. We're here working with you. What's the harm in telling us a little story?
I even brought scones for it, and she'll reach into her bag and pull out one of the boxes of scones.
Thanks, but we don't think that your expertise is really needed here, if we're being honest. Harv's got most of this taken care of, and Jones is doing his bit. Liz, you good over there? And you see Sergeant Crane look up from what she's doing, and she doesn't have anything in front of her except for a journal that she's just writing in. Yeah, something like that.
Can't hurt to have an extra set of eyes.
We've already done a glance over it. It all looks like just artifacts maybe the Japanese found on their own homeland that they're trying to confuse us with. Maybe even they were digging in Russia, and they're just trying to evade Russian patrol boats being this far south.
Wow, Mortimer is just. I mean, if you looked, you actually wouldn't have to look that close to see how massive of a vein he's got on his forehead and how much he's trying to suppress his rage. Well, I guess I'm going to have to second guess your opinion, and granted, I don't know how much expertise you have yourself or where your education comes from, but I happen to know quite a few actual real archaeologists who would probably look this over and would happily tell you that, that's wrong. No, these are clearly not made by the Japanese. These are not Russian. I'm going to go outside for some air real quick. And Mortimer goes outside, and you just hear him screaming.
I mean, look, while he's doing his little rant, can we just do a little peeky peek with our archaeology to see what we get?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just while he's ranting, just like look over some of the stuff. Oh, come on. Dice. My luck pool is very low, so I'm not going to spend luck on that. I fail. I think I'm a little scared to look too close after what happened the last time I looked at an artifact from here.
That's fair. My archaeology is 61, and I got a 58.
As you all take to looking at these things, you sit down, and Mortimer, you still have the tablet in hand as you step outside, but you bring it back in. By the time that you've gone back in, everybody except for Harv and Jones have kind of vacated. Fletcher and Crane, they don't seem to care too much about this position, as I've stated before, but Harv, he wants everything to be done right and sees a lot of the times that the Americans get it wrong. And Jones, he just seems to be a prodigy at this. Nobody really knows where he came from or what his background was, except for that, like, he was thinking about going to college. But he's really good at this, and he should really keep at it.
Kid's really good at puzzles.
Mm-hmm. So you all get to work, and Mortimer, you bring back in the tablet, and you put it down, and Harv takes a look at it, just like, well, this wasn't in with what they brought in.
Oh, yes, it was very heavy. It took a very long time. I have no idea how it could have gotten lost.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll leave that one for you. I've been trying to figure out these inscriptions over here. And he shows you, and
Ooh, may Mortimer roll his archaeology?
yeah.
All right, I got a 47 out of 50.
You still don't understand the script, but it does, from what you're seeing, it looks like part of a wall. It looks like whatever the Japanese dredged up, this was a part of a wall that had collapsed, and possibly a storefront, you're thinking, after like hours of staring at it and kind of taking it part by part. Looks like a fish market of sorts.
So this is just, again, taking another check mark for Mortimer. That is kind of more of a waterfront civilization, an island-based civilization. But he's not thinking, because Japanese ancient archaeology, all their buildings did not use stone. They had very elaborate woodworking and clay, but not hard stone. So this definitely does not check mark for ancient Japanese archaeology. This once again adds more credence to his original theory that this might have been for like Sumerian, or if we're going from, because Cthulhu mythos, Hyperborean, or even Mesopotamian. So, and he relays this information to Henry. He's just, thank you for sharing, and thank you. This is actually really helping me to really paint a picture of this civilization now.
Well, I'm glad it paints a picture for you, because I've been staring at this forever, and I cannot figure out what on earth these pictograms mean. You're saying there's a fish storefront?
Yes, sir. If so, from what I'm finding, that this is definitely was a piece of a structure, a building, and a marketplace. So, and clearly, and he's just going over the symbols. And granted, he can't read them, but he's saying from the way they're definitely laid down, and from the way that the actual pictures look, that this clearly is depicting a fish market.
Well, if that's so, this is a big cornerstone right here. If this is stonework, then the city must have been huge, because I can't imagine having a fishmonger who owns almost like a city block.
Exactly, and that's why I say that this doesn't make sense for like a piece of Japanese archaeology to come from their civilizations, because they didn't use this type of material on their buildings. It was more timber, lumber, clay work, very elaborate gold inlaying, but hard stonework that's more of European and other civilizations in that area. This is intriguing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's some more pottery over there that I think I'm going to start working on. But yeah, that was good work, man. And then Victoria, do you ever come over to see this?
I think Victoria is wandering around attempting to be helpful, not being particularly helpful with identifying because of my archaeology role was bad, but I'm at least able to maybe help hand people things. Just a little spaced out, a little distracted, but I am kind of like looking to see if there's any other things that I can just read. I'm not going to read anything out loud, but I'm like, is there anything else here that I can read that I shouldn't be able to?
And you are able to read it all. Everything that has the pictograms on it. From what they're working on, it's a fishmonger. Immediately you were able to clock it. You didn't say anything because this is almost horrifying to you. And then you look at the pottery that Jones is working on. This was a grain urn, or just a vat that they kept grain in. He's got a long way to go with putting that together, and he's almost there at a base, but he's got a couple of things out of whack. And then as you're staring off, you're starting to see, like, you drift off and you see this giant city with pyramids, with a snaking almost arch system that keeps up the buildings. And all of a sudden you're at the top of a large, almost pyramid-like structure that isn't a straight up and down pyramid, but it goes out over the ocean. It has like that angle of a pyramid, but it jets out over forest and then into the ocean. And while the city is at a shorefront, the land goes deep and deep into wilderness beyond, and you can't see the ocean on the other side, despite how high you are up, as if you're on another continent.
You have been listening to Beyond the Crumbling Veil, a Call of Cthulhu 7e actual play podcast by Styx Helix Productions, as part of Pseudonym Social, a creative podcast network changing reality one story at a time. If you're enjoying this show, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes or Podchaser or wherever you're listening to help other people find this lovely spooky tale. Beyond the Crumbling Veil is DM'd by John Voman of Styx Helix Productions, with Brian, Fennec Foxfire, and Brianna Jean. The show is also produced by Brianna Jean. If you don't want to wait to find out what happens next, you can get early access to our episodes by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/pseudonymsocial. You can also find out more information about our other shows at pseudonymsocial.com and support our various productions.